for a few minutes as we're waiting for people to tune in. We'll be getting started just a few minutes, like right around 12 Pacific time. Oh, how I love that song. I love that song. Well, hello and welcome to everybody that is tuning in. I am so happy to be going live with Amira Willighagen. This is a very exciting collaboration that I'm so happy to be doing. Thanks for taking some time to come and talk with me, Amira.
Thank you so much for taking your time as well. I know we have like a 9 hour time difference between California and Potchefstroom in South Africa, but with technology these days, everything is possible. So I'm so excited.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that we were able to make this work despite being on opposite ends of the world. So, welcome to everybody that is tuning in. I'm so happy that you were able to come and join us. We're just here doing short chat just to take some time to discuss a little bit about some things that are coming up. This new song that Amir and I have coming out, Down from His Glory. And yeah, just here to have a nice chat with each other about special things like that. So thank you for tuning in. I'm so glad again that we're able to have this happening. I don't know if you want to say something as well.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited for this collaboration, and especially we'll be talking about our new song, as you said, Down from His Glory, which you played a small fragment of instrumentally, beautifully done. By the way, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And this song, yeah, has a special place in both of our hearts. I've sung the version O Solo Mio before many times. I think a lot that are present here know O Solo Mio, that I also sung with Patrizio Buane all those years ago. But then David sent to me the Down from His Glory version, the English version, and the Christian version as well. And I immediately fell in love with the song, with the meaning of the song, and how we could share it with the public. So, yeah, I'm so excited to share some more information about our new upcoming song. But first, I think something that we've discussed in our Instagram live, but I think there are a lot of new people here as well. Just give us like a short summary of who you are so that the public can also get to know you a bit better, who you are, how old you are, what you're doing at the moment. I think we are all wondering that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, for those that may not know, my name is David Cerna. I'm 18 years old, and I'm a musician, and that encapsulates a lot of different things. I'm a pianist, I'm a singer, I arrange music, I compose a little bit of music as well, and I am a self-taught conductor. I love doing all of the above. So I am, for those of you who are wondering this, I am half Mexican, and on my other half, I am part from El Salvador and part from Uruguay. So I'm Hispanic. So to anybody that may be a Spanish speaker out there, mucho gusto. Estoy muy contento de que estén aquí. So yeah, Hispanic 100%. And music has really been a part of my life for really since forever. So yeah, even from the time when I was a little baby, music has always surrounded me. And one of the largest reasons for that is that I was born into a very, very musical family, going back 4 generations, even all the way to my great grandfather. Everybody down the line, extended family included, everybody had some sort of a background in music. So that would, like, aunts, uncles, cousins, and mostly with singing. Singing was the predominant
Mm.
thing, but
Mhm.
there were many instruments played as well. So I very much grew very quickly into a very musical environment. And my love for piano in particular came actually from watching my father play at my grandfather's church. For a long time, my dad was the pianist of our church. And he did play a little bit, but that didn't matter to me. When I was little, that was all there was. And I would just watch him many times play for the church services, and I would think, man, even from being very young, like I was like maybe 3, 4 years old, and I was like, man, I'd love to be able to do that as well. I just loved how much sound he was able to produce out of it. And that love continued. I started taking official piano lessons when I was about 7 years old. Took for about a year and a half, but then what happens? My teacher moves away, so I was for quite a long time without any real music lessons. So I had to rely on whatever I could teach myself. So I would just go. I would sit at the piano oftentimes for hours, just playing things by myself, trying to figure things out. And it was really like that, with a few on and off lessons until maybe about a year before high school. Then I began to take pretty regularly from my grandmother, who is a retired concert pianist. I took from her for a long time, but then after that, then I began to take at the Colburn School of Music in downtown Los Angeles. And that's where I furthered my piano studies for the next 4 years. Now I'm studying piano at the University of Southern California, and I'm a piano performance major there. So, yes, piano is the main thing that I do. However, I have also now very much gotten into the world of singing. I love to sing now, and I think that it was some, and I predominantly like do it in church. Most of what I do is sacred music. I do a lot of classical music and a few other genres as well, but my main focus is on sacred and Christian music. I think that it's a very powerful tool of ministry, and I love to employ the talent that I was given by God for God. So that's a little
Yes.
bit about me as far as music. But besides that, I'm just a regular kid as well, that I love to spend time with my friends, love to spend time with family, and just do as much as I can to ultimately do what I can for the Lord.
Amen. Yes. Thank you for sharing. I think we all know you a bit better now. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. But you know what? Well, you know what? I think most people here know already who you are. But if we want to give just like just small brief for anyone that might be maybe tuning in that is new, that maybe might not know who you are. Maybe if you want to give just a brief summary about who you are as well, I think that would be great.
Okay. Brief summary. So, hello. I am Amira. Currently, I live in South Africa in Potchefstroom, but I was born in the Netherlands, which you can maybe hear from like somewhat broken English and like a clear Dutch accent. But I lived there for 13 years of my life before I moved to South Africa. And I got into singing also very early. I also grew up in a musical family, just like you did, surrounded with classical music, with opera, with musical. And that really, I've always been in love with music from the moment I can remember. And then when I was 7 years old, I really started investing more in practicing to sing because I really enjoyed it. And I practiced with YouTube. So I have to give some credit to YouTube here as well because I learned singing via YouTube actually. I didn't have a singing teacher at first. Um, but I learned via YouTube. YouTube is a great tool. And then I entered the competition Holland's Got Talent when I was 9 years old, just for fun, to be on TV like one
Ah,
time. And then who could have known that I would end up winning the competition? And then my whole life changed. And to this day, I'm so grateful that I've received this talent from above and that I can share it with the people around me. So, yeah, just like you are, I'm so grateful and also grateful that we met each other, that we could start this lovely project, Down from His Glory, our first GoFundMe project. And I was wondering, we know a bit more about you now, but I was wondering, you told us about how your piano journey started, but how did you really get into singing?
well, that's an interesting story actually, because my singing journey was, and that's that my piano smoothie was never, my piano journey was never all that smooth to begin with, but my singing journey was actually even more interesting because like I said, grew up in a very musical family, so I would sing all the time when I was 3, 4, 5 years old. It's particularly in church. I would be singing all the time. But when I was around maybe 7 or 8 years old, I don't know why, I don't know what came over me, but for some weird reason, I decided I didn't want to sing anymore. I just became deathly afraid of it, if you can imagine that. So, and it was like that for quite a number of years, actually. From like maybe when I was from the time I was about maybe 8 to about 12 years old, I would be asked countless of times, "You should sing something. You should sing something." I'd be like, "No, I can't do it. I don't want to. I'd really rather not. I can't do it." I just thought that to myself. But this is where it might be a little bit of a surprise for you because I have in large part you to thank for the reason that I sing today. Because right when I was around 12 years old, that's when I, like many millions of other people on YouTube, found your videos. It started with the talent videos, started with the audition video. So I think at least I got the right intro to you the way everybody else did. So, and I thought it very interesting that in the brief little exchange that you had with one of the judges before you started to sing, you mentioned, "Oh, I don't have any vocal lessons. This is just something that I just do, and that you learned it really off of YouTube." And I immediately thought to myself, that's interesting. That's kind of like me. I learned a lot of stuff from YouTube as well during that time. I hadn't yet started the full consecutive and consistent lessons. So, and of course, when you opened your mouth to start singing, mine opened as well. I was like, as I'm sure many others did as well. So but more than just thinking, "Oh, this is beautiful singing," what stuck to me was also, "Hey, this is a girl that's around my age," because I ended up finding out later that we were actually the same age, just difference of a few months. But I realized, wow, she's doing this in front of thousands and thousands. If she can do this, maybe I can too. And that began to put the cracks on the years old shell that I had made around myself when it comes. And just as time went by, as I kept watching some of your videos, that inspired me to then want to get back into singing. And it was just in an interesting circumstance. My family was giving a concert at a church because that's something that my family does a lot. We used to give concerts in churches all the time, family concerts. And there came a moment where someone was supposed to sing, and they couldn't for XYZ reasons. Right now, I don't remember. It was quite a few years ago. And again, in the same way that I can't explain why I suddenly got afraid of singing, I can't explain what got me back into it. But I just decided right there in the spur of a moment to be like, I'll go. I don't know. I believe in a brief moment of insanity that I decided to do it, but I got up and I began to sing a song that I had heard my father sing for many, many years. And when I was done, I thought to myself, this is what I've been so afraid of. I was like, this is what I'm running from for so long. And I realized this isn't that bad. It was actually kind of fun. I think I can enjoy this.
Right?
And from just spiraled forward from there because then I began singing more and I began to become more comfortable with myself. And yeah, it was just, I think that God just decided, you know what, it's been long enough. It's time for you to go get back into it. But
Mm.
I really, God used you as an instrument to reel me back in. So I never really did this officially, but thank you really for that because I don't know where I'd
Aw.
be videos.
Oh, that's so sweet. And I'm so grateful to hear that my music has been an inspiration for others because I do feel like I received this talent for a purpose. And to then hear, like on a personal account, that it has had an impact on your life really makes me happy. And it reminds me again, why I keep singing and sharing my talent. And I also read a message just now that popped up like, thank you for the words that I shared with the veterans, and it brought me back to that special moment where I sang When You Wish Upon a Star. And I do feel it is important to share your dreams because I've heard a lot of people say, like, yeah, this is not quite possible, or this is like very far reached. But if you never try, you'll never know. And we have all received such special talents that shouldn't be hiding away. We should share it with everyone around us and share that love and share that joy. And I'm so glad it got you inspired to start singing because you have a lovely voice. And I think your story, telling your story as well, will also inspire others, that maybe are in the same situation that you are. Um, whether that be with singing, piano, or music at all, or another field in life. I think it's easy to be afraid to like put yourself out there, in a spotlight where people can see you up close. And it's not always that easy sharing your talent, but I do feel sharing your dreams and sharing your experience with other people can inspire them to do the same. So thank you so much for sharing, and for any other musicians out there, but overall just people with a dream. I just want to tell you to just keep on dreaming, keep on praying, keep working hard, and it's not impossible ever. Everything is possible, like Nelson Mandela said. So I really think that that should be an inspiration for everyone present here today. So thank you, David.
Absolutely, yeah. What and just what I've come to learn through that experience and through many others is don't give up. Keep going and take your chances because you never know what kind of things will be possible when you put your trust in the Lord ultimately and when then you just
Yeah,
go for
amen.
it because you never know what kind of things can happen. Like interestingly, this collaboration, I think I believe I might have some messages about it, but oh my goodness, the chat is scrolling up here quite fast. But I believe I saw this message come up, and that is like, for example, how did this come to happen? It was in large part a continuation of the story that I was just telling, because of course, as as time passed, I kept on watching your videos and everything, and of course, growing more and more impressed by the day. I absolutely loved seeing all the videos that you would release, and then I decided when I got an Instagram account, you know what? I'm going to find her via Instagram. I thought it's another way that I can see more of her content. And that just kind of began to spark that we began to have little communications here and there. And it began like, like we were mentioning before in our Instagram live, some comments here, a like there, stuff like that. And then one day I just felt impressed. You know what? Take the chance. Ask. And I thought, what? Like, what are the chances that anything like this would happen? But I decided, you know what? I'm gonna ask. Would you be interested in doing a musical collaboration? And I thought to myself, Worst that can happen is there's no response, nothing happens. But I think that ultimately must have all been in God's plan, because then the answer was yes. And I was
Ah,
very happy about that. And then that's kind of when we came now to discussing the song that we're at now. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that as well, like how we came to this song that we're doing.
that's actually interesting because, as you've mentioned, we met on Instagram. So this is just another reminder to, reach out to other musicians. It's not always easy to be a musician, especially like in the more classical field that includes opera, classical music, even crossover and musical. So we really have to support each other and be there for each other, because something I've said a lot of times is that I really see how many undiscovered talent there still is. I'm so grateful to have been participating in a competition like Holland's Got Talent that really jump started my career. But not everyone is in that position, and there's so much talent that hasn't been discovered yet. And that is, yeah, it's not nice to see. It shouldn't be hiding away. It should be heard and shared by with everyone. So that's why you should always reach out, like David did. Follow his example, people. And then great things can come out of it. But how we got to this song specifically, Down from His Glory, um, I always knew it as Osolomio, um, because I've never heard the English version before, until David and I started brainstorming on our first Zoom about, okay, we want to do a collaboration. What do we want to do? We both have a big love for Christian music, for religious music. That was number one. And secondly, we also had a big love for musical and like more classical music, and we shared some ideas. But then David sent me the link to Down from His Glory, the version from the Hawaiians, and I immediately fell in love with the song. The beautiful harmonies, the beautiful words, the meaning behind the words, and us being able to like share our joint Christianity and belief, and our love for music and our faith. I just thought like this song is the perfect first song to sing together, because it really feels like it tells us so much about us as a person. Not only how passionate we are about music, but also about our faith. So this song for me was just the perfect first song. When I heard it, I think I rather quickly told you like, yeah, we should do this song. And then we started brainstorming about how, because of course the Down from His Glory version from the Hawaiians is beautiful, but we wanted to do it the David and Amira way, of course. So we kind of like took the whole song apart, and told ourselves like, okay. I think because you told me, as you've told at the beginning of this live as well, you speak Spanish fluently, you know? So I was like, this is a perfect opportunity to do something in Spanish, because I've always thought that Spanish is such a beautiful language. And I've always seen that my following are a lot of people that are Hispanic. And I really want to learn more about the culture and the language as well. And I thought this is the perfect opportunity. I mean, you are right here. You can teach me a bit about it. And then we decided to do the song partly in English and partly in Spanish, and you told me how to speak the Spanish correctly. And you wrote the lyrics. You translated it to Spanish, and we decided, okay, we want to do verse, chorus, this, that. Then you sing, then I sing, and then we sing beautiful harmonies and stuff. And you actually made an arrangement from scratch with our ideas. And from that arrangement, we build a backtrack, like from the ground up. We let someone build a backtrack, Rian from Track Studios, and we created this beautiful backtrack with like these live strings. Ah, it's absolutely gorgeous. And we already recorded our voices as well. And of course, you played the piano part. I mean, duh. And it's really coming together beautifully, and I can't wait to share this song with everyone. It will appear on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all the social media stuffies. I can't wait for everyone to see it. But I want to ask you something. How did you experience working with me, both like regarding that we're like on the other side of the world, but also how did you experience teaching me, partly Dutch Afrikaans singer, to sing in Spanish?
Well, interesting as it may sound, it was much easier than I had it figured for. Because, I don't know, maybe this is me, but I've always thought Spanish and Dutch are just, I think, two polarly opposite languages, just because the, the the way you pronounce certain things, it's just so different in those two languages. So I thought, oh, this is going to be interesting. But you would never have known it with how quickly you caught on. I'm telling you, and I'm sure a lot of people will be able to attest to this when they hear it. You sound almost like you do speak Spanish when you sing those parts in Spanish, because your ear is very, very good. You adapted very quickly, very easily. I thought that was wonderful. I love that. Now, as far as working on opposite ends of the world, that works interestingly in multiple aspects. That works interesting not only when we go to record the project itself, but also the planning that goes behind it. Because usually, oh, people when they want to do collaborations like this, we'll get together. Okay, hey, I'll meet you here. We'll talk. We'll set something up.
Yeah.
We can't do that living over 10,000 miles apart. Me in California and South Africa. So what do we have to do? We rely on our good old buddy Zoom. Zoom has come in very, very handy in the last few months that we've been working on this project. Talking a bunch there, and it's had its comical moments as well. Because we all know, I'm sure
Mm,
many people, how Zoom does time you out after a certain amount of time. And boy, have we had our interesting share of experiences where we'll be right in the middle of a sentence, oftentimes fired up, and then Zoom will just cut you off right there. It does not care what you're saying. We've had a few
no.
moments like that, but despite those comical interruptions, it still worked really, really well. And it's what makes things like this possible. And even in the recording aspect, because obviously we were not able to record in the same studio. We had to record in different studios at different times, working but still with trying to put together the same song. So it's been an interesting process, but thank heaven for technology. This is one of the ways in which it can really serve an amazing purpose, because we were able to use still the same backing track, recording at different times, and then mixing them together. It works really, really well. I can't wait for everyone to get to hear the final product. So, in short, it's been interesting, but a lot of fun to really to do this and just see how effective it can still be despite being so far away from each other. I don't know how
Yeah.
maybe how has it been for you, because I don't know if this is something that you've done very often, of working with people so far away from you.
No, usually, like with performances, it's of course live, the person is right there. Um, but it has been interesting working with someone on the other side of the world. But somehow it both feels like far away, but it also feels like if we start talking about the songs and our like shared passion for music, it does feel like you're right here. It's like very strange, that concept. But it has also been a bit comical. I think we both have a very good sense for humor, and sometimes when it just cut you off, especially that one time where you were so confident that you were going to beat Zoom, and then at that
Oh,
point it cut you off. It's
oh my, that was probably
oh no.
we were getting to that thing. You know how Zoom tells you, oh, you have 10 minutes left, and then you start seeing the timer count down, and you just start sweating as you just start seeing your time going away. Well, it got to the part where it said less than a minute, and I thought to myself when I saw it, oh, it starts to less than a minute. Well, you know what? Zoom always cuts me off when I'm right in the middle of my sentence. So not this time. This time I'm gonna beat Zoom, and I'm gonna end the call before it times me out. So yeah, and Zoom cut there. And I thought, well, I guess
Oh
the Lord
no.
wants a lesson in humility, because yeah, I got cocky with Zoom. So yeah, but it was one of those funny moments that then we laugh about it looking back on it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this is a good moment to ask the public that is present here on this live. If you maybe have any questions for David and I saw a very sweet message complimenting my rhino necklace. Thank you so much for noticing this cute thing. Yeah, I think as some of you might know, I really have a passion for rhinos, rhinoceros here in South Africa, as they are really very closely towards extinct. And more information about that is also on my Instagram and Facebook, if you want to check it out. But thank you so much. Yeah.
That, that's on. Wow. Well, I'm looking in through the chat to see if there are any questions that people might have. I'm seeing a lot of comments in Spanish, so to all the Spanish speaking people. I think you're going to be in for a treat with this song. Now, I
Yeah.
think somewhere here, someone did ask, like, what's next after this? Where do we go from here? Some people are asking what's going to happen. So I don't know if you'd like to discuss a little bit about that, and then I can say something afterward. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. So we definitely have oh, I see a question. As a child, you really like turtles. Do you still? Yes, of course. Turtles are like the cutest, most adorable animals ever. But I think just overall, I have a
Figure it out.
passion for no, I have a passion for animals because I feel like it's such a beautiful part of God's creation. So at this point, I would probably say it's a combination of turtles, rhinoceros, and unicorns. Because I do think that rhinos are also like chubby unicorns. But moving away from the animals conversation, our future plans. So we do have a few. Of course, a dream of ours. It is a plan because we want to do it in the future. We'd really like to perform together live or like record a song together live in person because I do feel like that's a different experience from doing it so far apart. And we are performing artists, so a dream of ours is definitely to perform in person, either in South Africa or in the US somewhere. But for the most in nearby future plans, we definitely plan on recording more material, especially something like an EP. So, for those that don't know, an EP, it's not an album, it's also not a single, it's like in between. So, usually it's three songs, sometimes four, around that number, because are so many beautiful songs that we still want to record together with David's beautiful piano skills, arranger skills, singing skills, etc. But no, I'm really, really excited about it. So apart from that EP, we would like to do some more informal projects as well, because of course recording songs in a studio it takes a lot of funds, and to do things more informally with a cell phone, like the Past the Point of No Return we did from the Phantom, just with our phones. It's also such a nice experience, and it's still a more affordable, but also a lovely way to still get music across. So that's also in our future plans. And David, do you have something to add towards our future
Oh,
plans?
well, you said most of it, but yeah, we are definitely looking for. I'm very much looking forward for us doing our EP together. I'm sure we're going to have lots of good songs there, and most definitely, I'm sure we're going to be able to work it at some point that we'll be able to do something in person together because there's just no way that can't happen. But yeah,
Exactly.
that's going to be a lot of fun to do. And then we're also looking unofficially into potentially doing some other collaborations with potentially other musicians as well. So you'll have to keep on staying tuned for that. Nothing is official, but we're looking to see if maybe we can do some stuff with other musicians as well. Doing some other collaborations. That's going to be a lot of fun. So and I'm sure that's only because this song, Down from His Glory, is only, how can I put it? It's like the overture of the symphony that we still have yet to produce here. So I think this one is going to be only the beginning. So there's going to be a lot of other stuff coming. And I saw some other questions here in the chat. Let me see if I can scroll up a little bit. Oh, this is a good question. Someone asked, how much are you both influenced by your predecessors who sang the songs you choose to sing? Well, in this particular case with the Down from His Glory, the original ones that we heard it by were by a duo that was very famous um, back in like the 70s and the 80s, the Hawaiians. There was definitely a lot of influence from the Hawaiians, but we
Yeah.
did rather construct the song and we took some of the best elements from it, but still to make it our own. So there's, to answer your question, heavy influence from the people that we heard sing this song. I'm seeing a question here. This is for you, Amira. Do you still like singing opera more than chocolate cake?
That's a really difficult question, David. No, but of course I do. And that really says a lot because I really do like chocolate cake a lot. But singing and music will always be the thing I love the most, and to share my God given talent. So the answer is still yes after all these years.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's when you know you're.
Uh,
Let me see. I'll see if I can find. Oh, someone asked, "Are you still into athletics?"
That's also a good question. Yeah, so athletics, I still have a love for sport and exercise. Because with singing, got to keep these core muscles strong and ready to perform. But for now, I'm more into practicing in the gym. So hello to all my gym buddies on this live. Because with the climate, and I also have hay fever, unfortunately, and it comes up in like the worst of times. But if I run for excessive times outside, all the pollen and stuff really integrates, and it's not a pretty picture. So unfortunately, with my voice, actually running outside in the dry pollinated air is actually not the best thing for like the overall health of my voice. I have to humidify my voice a lot as well with like a humidifier machine and stuff. And when I run, because athletics you have to practice every day, and practicing every day outside for numerous of hours, it actually wasn't that good for my voice. So currently, I am in the gym, sometimes joining those classes. Oh, I don't know if any of you have joined a spinning class before, on the bicycles. If you haven't, I don't advise it. It was very bad. It was torture. So yeah, I don't know if I'll be doing that again. But overall, yeah, still into exercising. Yeah.
Yeah, all should be very important for all of us. I think some of us maybe know we need to get on that a little bit more. But yes, I can learn from her example is that you can mix athletics and music. I'm seeing a lot of requests here. If we can, asking if we can sing part of "Past the Point of No Return" a cappella. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way very well over live stream because there's a small amount of inherent delay. So to try to sing together is not gonna work well. Guess you'll just have to wait till either we can at some point do it in person, or you can go back and watch the short. So sorry, it's
Yeah.
unfortunate to do it here, but unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. But I see an interesting question. Um, how much classical music and opera do you get to experience in your day-to-day lives in South Africa slash California? What has been your recent wow moments? That's a very
Hmm.
good question because I feel like, of course, classical music, crossover, opera, it is not the easiest genre, to be an artist in, but I'm so passionate about that music. And something I've come to realize a lot is that there are so many people that really still love classical music, crossover, Christian, opera, musical. There are so many people that still enjoy that music. So that's why I'm here, I guess. And in South Africa, classical music and musical, and also Christian music is very much still present here. A lot. I wouldn't say less present than when I lived in the Netherlands. So I'm really enjoying performing here. Um, of course, without I'm going to tell it how it is. Usually, the type of music I sing is for a bit of an older generation, but I do think I don't only sing opera. I sing crossover and musical as well. That's also a bit lighter for those that aren't like a big fan of opera and like the heavy operas. But the wow moments, I think the like a big wow moment that is coming up for me personally is Classics is back. It was called Classics is Groot in the past, but now it is Lexus Pop Classics. And it is, apart from the André Rieu show, of course, it is my favorite concert that I have ever been a part of. And it is happening again this year in July. And here I will be singing two songs, one solo and one duet. And the solo is actually a Christian song written for me and for a big African choir. So it has this African vibe a bit. You can compare it to the drummer boy version I did, that also has a bit of an African vibe. So I think that is like a big wow moment coming up. I can't wait. And David, I think the question was for you as well. How do you experience their life in California, classical music and opera, and recent
Yeah,
wow moment?
absolutely, absolutely. Well, The great thing is that living here in California, I am very, very close to the city of Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is, it's like the hub or one of the biggest hubs in the United States for just the arts in general. And there most certainly is a huge place in Los Angeles for classical music. It's the home of the Walt Disney Concert Hall, one of the biggest in the U.S. So yeah, there's definitely a lot that we can do that you can do with classical music here. I haven't particularly gotten very much me myself into doing opera singing, though that may change soon. I'm thinking about getting more. But for right now, as far as classical piano is concerned, well, taking at the Colburn School of Music for 4 years was absolutely amazing. It's one of the best music schools in the United States. It has an amazing conservatory, very, very selective, which, but it's absolutely amazing. And actually, the school that I'm currently attending, the University of Southern California, which has the Thornton School of Music, it's also one of the best in the US for music in general, but also very much for classical music. I have a wonderful piano instructor there that I've been taking from already now for 1 year. I just finished my freshman year there, and I have absolutely loved what I've been able to do here. In fact, the Colburn School of Music used to be the conservatory of this school. Then it just became its own. But yeah, Los Angeles, you can find so much to do here as far as music and classical music. Now, the other part of the question was what has been one of your biggest wow moments that you've had? I would have to say that one of my biggest wow moments, if not maybe the biggest wow moment that I had in my musical career, was last year when I had the opportunity to perform with the Amiras Symphony Orchestra. I had the opportunity to perform one movement of Grieg's Piano Concerto in A minor. I got this via the opportunity because I won a piano competition, a concerto competition. Now, this happened before COVID, and I was supposed to perform like about 2 years ago, but COVID hit and the world stopped. So, yeah, that was a bit of a problem. But then I was so happy to hear that even 2 years later, when things began to open up again, at least here in the United States, they still wanted to honor that prize. So I did get the opportunity at the end of my senior year in high school to get to perform that movement with the orchestra. Oh my goodness. It was an experience unlike any that I've had. Hopefully not the last though. So yeah, that was probably one of my biggest wow moments. But I don't know, with the way things are playing out here, I think that in the future there might be a few more wow moments for both of us coming up.
Yeah, definitely. And I saw one message from Mrs. Sabine, and she actually said, the song I will be singing at Classics this year, the name is Amen. And it was composed especially for me, but also for the Mzansi Youth Choir and also the Ndlovu Youth Choir. So the recording is like made with the Ndlovu Youth Choir, which also performed at America's Got Talent a while ago. But I will be performing it live with the Mzansi Youth Choir that actually got a golden buzzer on America's Got Talent. And she said, like, David, perhaps you might know about that because you are in the United States, and they got the golden buzzer for the beautiful song they did, um, honoring Night Birdie that sang on America's Got Talent a while ago. Wow, it was absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to perform with them this special, amazing song with such a beautiful story behind it as well, because it's Amen, and there are a lot of chants that the choir sings in also other national languages, because as some people might know, here in South Africa we have 11 national languages, and I think like the diverse culture we have here is something to celebrate and something to be proud of. And also I think everyone should be eager to learn more about each other's culture, each other's heritage, each other's language, in order to communicate better and to understand each other better. So this song, it is a religious song. It is about our love for our Savior, but it is also about how beautiful South Africa is. South Africa, in my personal opinion, is the most beautiful country in the world. I love it so much, and I love all the cultures and all the people here. I love them so much. So that's why I'm so excited to do this song to also show the rest of the world. Um, I know a lot of people might have heard stuff about South Africa that isn't that isn't that fantastic. Not everything is going perfectly well over here. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I do really feel that with this song, people will also see that the people of South Africa, who we are, and how proud we are of South Africa, and how proud we are of our faith, and that they will see all the beautiful things about South Africa and our cultures.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And a lot of what you're saying, I can also relate to what's here in my country as well, because everything's not handy dandy here in the United States either. We've got plenty of our own problems. But what I love is how music has an extremely powerful way of getting a lot of people through it. And just in general, when there's problems going on, and most importantly, as a form of ministering, I thought that that's something that's really amazing about music. That, for example, I'm sure like everybody knows that in ministry, people put a lot of emphasis on preaching and going out with the homeless and doing things for like health reforms. All those things are wonderful, and they most certainly do have their place. But I think that many times the power of music that it has, particularly in its power of healing and of ministry, is oftentimes glossed over and overlooked. But it is most certainly true. I've had this happen to me. I'm sure you've probably had similar experiences, and maybe our audience can relate to this as well. That music can many times touch you in a way that even the most powerful message by an amazing preacher can't do. One song can touch the heart in a way that a sermon
Yeah.
can. I've always thought that that's extremely powerful. It shows how powerful music is and how much good it can do when employed correctly. So I think that that's absolutely amazing. And I hope that this is something that we're going to be able to not only, excuse me, us keep on doing, but that we can inspire other musicians to do as well. Because I'm sure in the audience we have plenty of talented musicians, maybe some discovered,
Yeah.
maybe some undiscovered. But if there's anything that this whole experience that I've had with Amira has taught me is take your chances, trust in the Lord, and see what doors are going to be open. Because who would have told me that this was ever going to be possible for us to do it? I would have thought that it was going to happen, but I chose to put aside the fact like, oh, I'm afraid I'm talking, I'm going to reach out to a public figure here. I chose to put that aside. You never know what can happen. I have nothing to lose, but I sure do have a lot to gain. And I took my chance, and here we are now. So the lesson that I think that I learned from this, and that I hope other people can take away from this, is don't be afraid of the opportunity that could be lying ahead of you. Many times you're the person that can best decide what happens to you. So take those chances, put your trust in the Lord, and see what doors are opened.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. I totally agree. I mean, if you wouldn't have reached out the way you did, this wouldn't have happened, and we wouldn't have created this beautiful song that a lot of people will be blessed by and will make them happy and uplifted. And I actually saw an interesting comment that we were talking about our countries and our experience, and which said, whatever country you're mentioning, it has way too many homeless people. And I actually agree, like, especially, I don't know, like, 100% the scenario over there in the US, but what I do know is that over here, there are way too many homeless people, and it is not right. The poverty is only continuing to grow. And also, I have a foundation, Gelukskinders, just shortly, that's built playgrounds in South Africa for underprivileged children. And up until this moment, we've built 21 playgrounds over the years. And it makes me so happy to see the children playing as they should, because it's weird that we should have a conversation about, wow, in South Africa there are townships and regions where there are no playgrounds, no type of play equipment for children to just have a nice time with their friends, playing, having a nice time outside of their homes that is usually also filled with abuse, violence, drugs, alcohol, miserable circumstances, poverty. And that playground, it's not just a playground, it's a way to escape reality a bit. I feel there's so much bad. In a lot of children's lives in South Africa, in poor communities, and that just brings a bit of a shining light, a beam in their lives. But unfortunately, it is very difficult to single handedly um, work on all the homelessness and poverty in South Africa. But what I do think is that I pray every day that people's eyes will be opened. Because I know a lot of people that had never even have visited townships before, here in South Africa. And I mean, the closest townships, it's a 10-minute drive away. And I feel like you have to see it in person, talk with the community to really realize how things are going over there. And I really pray for people's eyes to be open to look for those around you, because it is not fair of someone in such a vulnerable position to say, if you work hard, it will happen, because I don't believe in that. I feel like it's a combination of talent, hard work, but also opportunity. And if you're not given that opportunity, it might also not work out. And some people are given that opportunity at birth. We're born into a nice family, a nice home, but not everyone is born into those same circumstances. So those of us that are in a privileged position, privileged enough to reach out for others, and to make their lives a bit better, we should. And I do feel together, if we stand together, we can really make a huge difference, and make a big change, even in a country where there is corruption, and where there is a lot of darkness. I really feel if the people stand together and we look, for those that are more vulnerable, that are in a less fortunate position, we can create great change.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Wow. I think more people need to hear this motivational speech that you just gave. But yeah, that's really amazing. But it's so true what you're saying. So we can only hope that maybe, like you said, like you do pray. Hopefully, maybe someday people's eyes will be opened, and also we can rest assured. I think in the fact that there is a better, especially when you do believe, when you do realize the beautiful reality that there is in what Christ has done for all of us, and that our hope is not ultimately in what happens here in this world, but ultimately what we can joyously wait for in the next one, when Jesus comes to take us all home. So if we put all our hope in that, I think that we can never fail here. Ooh, let's see. I think this might be have to be one of the last questions here, but let's see. Let's see. This one was actually given to me in Spanish. David, veo que tienes nombre y apellido latino. ¿Provienes de inmigrantes? ¿Entiendes español? Bueno, sí hablo el español fluentemente. It's basically, they're asking me if I come from a family of immigrants, and truth be told, yes, I do. From three different countries, from Mexico, El Salvador, and Uruguay. I have family from all three of those countries. And if I go further back, you'll find from other countries as well. But from those three main ones, Mexico, El Salvador, and Uruguay, from those three countries, I most certainly have very close family that immigrated from there. So, yes. And I do understand Spanish. It was actually my first language. I didn't even speak English until I was about 5 years old. So, yes. And I most certainly don't plan to lose that. It's definitely going to be something that I think will
Mm.
an aid and an asset to me for the remainder of my life. Much like I'm sure, for example, Dutch and Afrikaans will be to you, Amira.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like the Dutch culture and language will always be close to my heart. I was born there, I lived there for many years, and also the South Africa as a country, that I've also experienced for now for almost 6 years. And I feel like a language is such a great way of communicating and understanding the culture, and that's why I'm so glad that you were able to teach me some Spanish, David, for the song and the pronunciation. And already you told me a lot, and I'm still passionate to learn more, about your culture and your language, because it's such a beautiful language, and I can't wait to learn more about it. And I've actually read a comment which was quite interesting. It said, um, uh, someone asked, Amira, what is your relationship to the Messiah, Jesus Christ? And I think this is a very nice question, because I think that this is where you and I also connect, David, because we both have a very close relationship with our Savior, Jesus Christ, and it's in the center of our lives, to put it plainly. And we've done some Bible studies together as well, where we just talk with each other about our faith, and also our experiences, in our countries with our faith, but also in our life as musicians. And how can we express our faith and share God's love with as many people as possible. So basically, to just sum it up, I have a very special relationship with Jesus Christ, and I'm so grateful for the talents that I have received, and even more grateful that I am able to this day to share it with so many around the world. I don't know, David, if you want to fill in on.
Yeah, just most of what I can say is really the same as what you're saying, but I always love to I can't emphasize it enough. I believe for
Mm,
me, Jesus Christ, at least I always try to make him the center of my life. He is
yes.
number one. He has molded and shaped my life and my family's life for now many, many, many years. I'm so glad that my family, very from a long time ago, found Jesus Christ, and it's been amazing. And the things that my family has undergone, that I think we would have never been able to get through the same way had it not been for Jesus being right there with us, right alongside us constantly. And to all of us watching, he's with you as well. And he loves you so, so much. And when I think just for a moment that the creator of this entire universe, as we said in our song, the great creator became our savior, and all God's fullness dwelleth within. Like, really thinking about those lyrics that are in that song, it's powerful to think that God came down from his glory to become one of us, give himself for us when he did not have to, so that we can all spend the rest of eternity with him. That, when you really understand that, and I don't know if many times I think that I many times I think I understand it until I really realize another point, and I realize, oh wow, I don't think I
Yeah.
understand more.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm sure you've had that as well. Like, the more you grow in your spiritual walk, the more we realize, man, there's so much I don't understand still, of just that unfathomable love that Jesus Christ
Yeah.
has. But that's what ultimately is the center of my life, what my morals, my values, and just my way of life centers around.
Mm,
And I always want to keep that number one. But
wow.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I think that's where we also really connect. And that, what you said, like down from his glory, that's what our song is about. And I think that's also a great way to express how grateful we are to God for receiving our God given talents, and for us to be able to share it with the world. That's amazing. I don't
amen.
know any other questions. I think I saw something. Oh, I saw something about ask her about South America tour, please. Ah, wow. That would be
I think we have.
fantastic. I mean, David can help me in the meantime to brush up my Spanish. And I'll even also work on my English as well. And I mean, that would be like a dream come true to have a tour in South America. I've been in South America before, but I've never done like a full on tour there. And I mean, like you as a pianist and also a singer, and me singing, I mean, I think that could be a fantastic concert. We have so many music we're both passionate about. Yeah, that would be
I think we have
fantastic. Perhaps.
that list. Yeah, wow. Well, I think if I didn't see any other questions here, so we might have to wrap it up for now. Wow, we've been going a while here, but wow. Thank you so, so much to everybody that tuned into this live. We really, really do appreciate it, and your constant support, both to Amira and to myself. I can't tell you really just how grateful we are for your support, because none of what we do here is possible without you guys, the people who
Yeah.
support all of this. So I'm sure on behalf of Amira and myself, we thank you so, so much for your support and for coming and joined us here on this live. It was so great to have you guys here.
Yes. Thank you so much for all of your support, and thank you once again for everyone that supported our GoFundMe project that even made the recording of this song, Down from His Glory, possible. We've already heard the demo track of our voices and the beautiful arrangement, and wow, it's such a beautiful song that I really pray that will also enlighten your lives and make you feel the same love that we feel when we sung this song. And yeah, I hope that you all have a great day over there. like in the other on the other side of the world, and for all the people also here in South Africa and also in Europe. I hope that you have a great evening and sleep well.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you so much. And last thing, also, last few words I'll say that the song Down from His Glory will be coming out soon within the next few days or few weeks. We don't know exactly when, but very, very soon it will be coming out and you'll be able to see it on Amira's YouTube channel. And you can find us both on Instagram as well. And you can go and check out our songs and a lot of our music there as well. So please feel free to go and do that. And yeah, we can't wait to keep sharing our music with you. And hopefully, this is only the beginning. So thank you again so much, everybody that joined, and we will see you soon.
Yes, see you soon. Now just
Thank
figuring
you.
out how to end this thing.
I, I'll try it here. I think I've got it. Thank you to everybody.
Oh, thank you.